In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with self-illuminated panels. So sometimes when we're doing interior design, we have these large flat panels that you really can't see through. They're fairly opaque. It could be plastic, acrylic, it could even be some synthetic materials like Corian that has bulbs placed behind it, and once those bulbs are behind it, the panel actually glows or illuminates. So it's a kind of a fun little accent thing that you can do in interior design. If you look over in the Enscape portion of the screen, you can see that my desk currently has some self-illumination happening on this angled flat panels that you see right here. So in order to do that, it's kind of a multi-step process, so be sure to write these steps down. But step number one is to create a new material that we can designate to be self-illuminating. So I'm going to go up to Window and Default Tray, Show Tray, and I want to come to my materials, and I was kind of practicing earlier, but what you want to do is you want to find here in the scroll bar the type of material that you want to work with and clone. So I'm going to actually go down to synthetic surfaces, and I'm going to choose one of these. I'm actually going to choose the quartz light gray. So just go ahead and click on that, and you'll kind of see it pop up here. Rule number one is that when you're working with software that has materials, you never make changes to the original material. Always make a copy of that material and make changes to the copy. So with Quartz Light Gray selected, I'm going to click on the Create New Material button, and this little window is going to pop up, and you'll see that material thumbnail right here, but I'm going to go ahead and rename it. And I'm going to name it in a way that I know that it's self-illuminating. So I'm just going to say self-illum panel. I'm going to keep the same picture, the same everything. I'm going to keep it 100% opaque because I don't want to see through it, but if I wanted to, I could change the transparency of that object, and then I'm just going to click OK. Once that's completed, what I want to do, I'm going to temporarily, well, here, I'm going to actually move this over a little bit so that we can see the SketchUp model. I want to kind of do the same thing that I did here on the desk, but I want to do it on the edge of this red panel back here. So that way it glows and it kind of gives a really cool emphasis. That's exactly why we do self-illumination. It's just giving emphasis to different areas. It's kind of going to be like cove lighting, except that I'm not cutting anything out. I'm not seeing the bulbs. I just want to see that the surface is glowing. So in order to do that, I need to first paint that, and I went into the group, and you can see that I'm now on the face panels themselves. I'm going to use the bucket tool, and I am going to make sure that I paint that little side panel right there according to the material that I just created. So you can kind of look back here and you can see that that updated a little bit. It's hard to tell, but it did. So now that that's there, what I want to do is I want to assign self-illumination to that material. And I do that in the Enscape toolbar using that little disco ball, the Enscape material editor. So go ahead and click on that. And what should happen is once you applied that material, it should show up in this materials panel. And here it is, self-illum panel. And we're going to make some changes to this. So over here on the right side, this is how you make changes to your materials, and you can get really crazy with stuff. But I'm just simply going to assign it to the self-illuminated, and you'll see that a little ball of sunshine started appearing, whereas before it was like one of these circles. But with that sunshine being right there, I can choose like how bright I want it to be. I could choose how reflective that surface is, but for the most part I just leave it how it is. And I exit out, and now you can come over here and see that that is like shining bright. Wow, that is an alien behind that panel trying to come abduct me, everybody. So I think I need to update that a little bit. So come back to the disco ball, and right here is where you can play with the luminance. We can bring that down a little bit. It's just really meant to kind of give some emphasis, not light the entire surface of that room. So maybe something kind of like that, maybe even just a little bit more. I do want to see that it is glowing, so you have to kind of adjust it correctly. And then I could exit out, and now you can come back here and you can see that that panel is self-glowing. So all there is to self-illumination is you have to create a clone of one of your materials. Make sure that you label it in a way that you remember that it's illuminating, and then you have to paint that surface, come up to the disco ball, change it to self-illuminated where it says type, and then adjust the illumination as you need.